Iruma-kun's recent chapters have absolutely blown my mind. In the previous chapters, we were introduced to one of the most powerful presences in the demon world, capable of making the 13 crowns, including Sullivan himself, shiver with fear. This man is the head of the Barbatos clan, and is in an alliance with the three heroes, whose power easily equals the 13 crowns. So if it comes down to it, this man could cause a war, and we were left on the cliffhanger of Iruma sat in front of him as he's enraged. We learned that he was taken there by Robin because he was worried about Bachiko, since she was down in the dumps about being rejected as a member of the 13 crowns. A big reason for her depression is likely because of her plans when she became a member. She wanted to make the demon world safe enough for humans like Iruma to live there comfortably, and now feels as if she's failed him. Barbatos' head is pissed that the 13 crowns attempted to nonchalantly make her the demon king, since that would put her in an immense amount of danger. Her safety is the top priority, as he states that she's the most important member of the Barbatos clan. Now, whilst we don't know exactly why this is the case, it's likely because of her power. That might seem basic, but she does seem relatively young, and they may be grooming her to be eventually the president, which is more likely considering what happens later on. But we'll get into that in a bit. By the way, I'm just going to interrupt. As I'm editing this video, I just noticed that Bachiko and the president sit in the exact same way. That's actually a callback from a long time ago, so honestly, that's kind of crazy. This whole situation could cause a war, and I can't help but think that this was Baal's plan all along when he recommended her, given how important we now know the Barbatos clan is. At the time, it seemed as though he suggested it out of nowhere, but looking back, he probably wants a war between the three heroes and the 13 crowns. Baal thrives on chaos, as seen when he manipulated the entire situation in the Deviculum to make Princess Shura fall in love with him to further his goals. And yeah, to be completely honest, I have no idea how to pronounce Deviculum or Deviculum, so I'm just going to say Deviculum and hope that that's fine. This is further proven in chapter 310, as the 13 crowns admit that the public opinion doesn't matter nearly as much as having Princess Shura's approval, when it comes to whether or not to strike Delkira's name from the 13 crowns entirely. Baal would want her to approve of striking his name, since he wants chaos, and as Amaimon stated, that would destroy the balance entirely, and it's already been wavering without him, with the appearance of more and more demons returning to Origins. If they had a Demon King, they could stop all of this conflict with ease. As Sullivan stated, if the Demon King says something, everyone falls in line. But anyway, as we move back to the chapter, the president's anger is so intense that it comes out in a pressure that envelops the entire room and seemingly the entire building. The pressure from his anger and seemingly magic power was so intense that Robin felt threatened enough to have to protect Iruma from him, standing between the two. But Iruma shouts back that he's also furious at what happened at the Deviculum, since Bachiko was troubled the entire time. This shows how much Iruma has grown as a character. Even without his evil phase, he'll stand up to anyone for what he believes in, even if doing so could literally start a war. Iruma continues to show why he's goated, explaining that Bachiko is a selfish demon, but if someone follows her, she will protect them no matter what. He says that she's a wonderful master, and he won't allow anyone to speak ill of her, and if she has no legacy to speak of, he will be that legacy. This statement is huge, much bigger than you can even imagine, because this means that he fully intends to surpass her if needs be to prove her worth. This is a perfectly fitting goal for Iruma. Like, remember when he saved all those kids at the Walter theme park? All of his goals are for others. Even though Amory did say to him that he should have goals for himself, this is something that is for himself. He wants to prove her worth, even if that means that he has to become insanely powerful or prove his own worth. This is the most confident and badass version of Iruma we've ever seen, as he says that he'll support her, and if the head allows it, he'd like them to deal with their anger together. Iruma prior to this moment has had no real motivation to become stronger, but now he does, especially with the events in the Heartbreaker arc when he was literally completely caught off guard and nearly died. His desires have evolved further as he strives for more power like a true shonen protagonist. We could even see Iruma being trained further by the Barbatos clan. This training will be the next step in his archery. In my other Iruma videos, I've said how he isn't quite on the same level as Bachiko, but now he actually intends to be and showed his likeness to her when he stole her technique in the Evador games. Iruma recently stated that he does want Shida to train him, as he admitted that he doesn't have the heart to actually hurt anyone as she said, and he needs to move past this weakness to protect his own ideals, and the best one to teach him this is Shida. But who's to say he can't learn more about his own archery? I mean, he clearly has his own limits, and once he gets past his whole fear of hurting people, he'll need to grow more powerful in different ways. And I personally think the Barbatos clan is the perfect way to do this. However, back to the chapter. Bachiko hears all of this from the other side of the door, as she breaks down in happiness. Remember, all of her students other than Iruma gave up on her completely, but now she has Iruma who's not just willing to be taught, but stand by her side no matter what. This is honestly quite similar to what he said about Amori. He wants to stand by her side, and the lengths he's willing to go to achieve this is insane. I mean, he's literally standing up to one of the most terrifying figures in the demon world right now. Bachiko admits that the pressure of being a 13 crown was already debilitating, and being recommended as the Demon King rattled her to her core, but Iruma's word made her not give up, as she gives the most heartwarming smile in the series so far. She feels immensely proud of Iruma and is happy that all their hard work was not for nothing. And we finally cut back to the president's reaction. With the tension building, we have no idea what he's going to say, and then he says that he's just happy that Iruma gets it, as he questions if Iruma thinks Bachiko is cute and if he likes her, which he says he does. Okay, chill. We all know it's not in that way. Amori's still best girl. Iruma plans a compliment circle like he and the Misfits did previously, but Bachiko walks into the room and interrupts them. She says that if she was chosen as a crown, she would have accepted proudly. The president says that he needs to prepare too, since he's stepping down and retiring? Bro, we just met this guy and he's already leaving. But this does mean that he'd have more time in his hands to maybe train someone, and we know he likes Iruma now, and yeah, I think you guys get what I'm saying. He says he'll be putting the vice president in charge, whom we haven't quite met yet, and Bachiko is replacing that role and getting a huge promotion since she's the third strongest in the clan. This is a test for her, since if she can't handle this, there's no way she can handle being a crown. I mean, he's got a point. The 13 crowns can literally change the entire world if they desire, as Baal previously stated. Speaking of the crowns, they are still in disarray, desperately trying to stop a war from occurring, planning a way to apologize, but then...
Hey yo, what the?
Akin to when Iruma rode the Guardian, the BARBATOS president, Robin, and Iruma himself all crashed a meeting between them to say that he's stepping down as president, and if they change their mind and make Bachiko a crown, he will support her from behind the scenes. Henry is shocked that Iruma is even there with such a huge figure, probably realizing, as we all have, that Iruma just stopped the war from happening. So hey bro, if you want to give your blessing for Iruma and Amori, you know, we'd appreciate that, you know what I mean?
What does that have to do with it?
No. He's got a point.
All the crowns are now starting to realise how much of a major player Iruma will be as he leaves with his grandpa Sullivan. Sullivan is still distressed over what to do with the Demon King's seat and choosing the next crown, when Iruma just says, why don't you just make it the 14 crowns? Now yeah, this seems awfully stupid, but he actually rarely emulates a Demon King in this moment, since remember, Delkira was the exact same. Back when Sullivan was describing what the Demon King is to Iruma, if the choice was left or right, and the Demon King said to go straight, then demons would carve that path. Iruma's greed that Baal mentioned was shown here, as he's pretty much asking to change the entire status quo of the demon world. It's so basic of an option that it completely slips Sullivan's mind, as he brings up Iruma and says how proud he is of him. Chapter 314 shows the 13 Crowns meeting to announce the brand new members, and one of the new crowns is indeed Bachiko. That's right, she's officially made it, as she gets a thank you from Sullivan, as the 13 Crowns and the 3 heroes have never really been on good terms, further proving that without Iruma, a war was indeed imminent. But it also shows Narnia, who is officially introduced as a member. I know he was kind of already shown to be one, but I think this is like really official now. And this guy knows that Iruma is human, and his goals directly contradict Iruma's. Remember, he stated he wanted to remove any outsiders, including humans, from the demon world. He sees Iruma as a huge threat, and is the one who recommended Atari, who, you know, caused some problems. And the whole fiasco at the Deviculum made Baal a man with power that rivals the 3 greats. By working alongside him, he can create the Narberius' ideal demon world that he stated to Kylego previously. Sullivan keeps talking about how glad he is that Bachiko is now a member, and that together they will form a new path in the demon world. And Sullivan decides to go on a picnic? What? He says that he'd been overthinking the whole situation, and this is what Delkira would want. The 13 Crowns was never supposed to be something so serious, which is, yeah, kind of ironic considering they now hold the demon world balance in their own hands. Sullivan says that he'll save Delkira's seat, and he'll make the demon world a fun and happy place, so when Delkira returns, he'll be thrilled. This statement by Sullivan means that he thinks Delkira is somehow alive, which is likely more of a metaphor. He must know that Iruma has Delkira's mana. I mean, look at how happy he was when he thought Iruma wanted to be the Demon King. So he probably means that he'll make the demon world as safe and fun as possible for when Iruma takes the seat. Because remember that Delkira never told Sullivan that he was going to return, and it was likely wishful thinking from him as stated by Baal. Sullivan is kind of a temporary Demon King at the moment, taking the role that Delkira once did, and becoming just like him, which a certain someone isn't gonna like. Baal hates Delkira. He's gone as far as to fill the rivers that he once loved, and a prime goal for him is to kidnap Iruma since he has Delkira's mana. He wants to rid his name entirely and return demons back to origins, and Delkira, he wanted the complete opposite. He wanted a demon world where people could just have fun. Iruma stopping the war and Bachiko becoming a crown were outside of his plans, and he's going to need to take even more drastic measures. It's no longer so simple as for Baal to take Iruma's mana, since remember that Ali-san is the one with it, and he was shown to no longer be tethered to Iruma and the ring once he evolved, but he was still teleported back to the ring / Iruma. I can honestly see that when Iruma ranks up more and more, I can see him slowly fading away as Iruma becomes more and more confident with magic. I'm sure it'll be a very emotional moment, but it'll mean that Iruma fully has control over Delkira's mana. These new chapters have set forth a new era in Iruma, as Baal has to now be more aggressive instead of trying to chill from the background. He seriously underestimates Iruma and the power he could reach when he masters Delkira's mana. But honestly, I just think that Baal is too greedy. When Iruma was attacked by Atori, he should have told Atori to kill him, not kidnap him. Baal wants to take the ring / Delkira's mana for himself, as remember that those that have returned to origins are insanely selfish demons, full of greed. So the temptation of this power is too much for him to handle, which will come back to bite him. Iruma, a human who has no greed, will become an enemy that will defeat him. And not just that, the training that he will receive to become this powerful would be Baal's fault. His training from Shida would only be possible because Baal sent her as an outsider to Babylos, not knowing that she wants to protect Iruma no matter what. Given that Baal now has to accelerate his plans, it only adds up that Shida will make sure that Iruma can stand his ground against these new threats, and we will see Iruma get a huge boost in power, as she will teach him to be able to hurt people and not hold back, and once he does, he'll be the strongest in Babylos and will officially be on the track to become the Demon King himself.